All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders. Just the craziest news, or at least rumor slash report, is that Ben Johnson is currently the favorite for the Las Vegas Raiders opening head coaching job. As we know, the Raiders hired Antonio Pierce, the head coach, GM Tom Telesco this past week, which marked the third time since 2022 that the franchise has made a change in both roles. And as you also saw this past week, Mike Vrabel officially hired by the New England Patriots. So Ben Johnson's currently, the dude. He's the dude in the head coaching market, but like we know, the Detroit Lions are a really good football team, and I don't see them getting knocked out of the playoffs anytime soon. But 38 years old, Ben Johnson has interviewed for 13 head coaching vacancies since 2022, including 4 this year, since 2022, where he became the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. The Lions are first in the NFL in points and yards per game. They've also had just an unbelievably good offensive line, such a great running room, a great tight end in Sam Laporta. I mean, their offense is pretty much perfect. And as we know, Ben Johnson is one of the 7 candidates that the Las Vegas Raiders are looking into. Aaron Glenn, Coach Spags, they had video interviews this past week, or last week, I should say. Pete Carroll was the first in-person interview on Monday. Robert Saleh comes in tomorrow, I believe. And then you have Todd Monken and Vance Joseph with Baltimore and Denver next week, or they're at least next. It sounds crazy that Ben Johnson is the front runner, but it actually makes a lot of sense. But folks, before we get any further into tonight's video, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily Raiders content. If we could try and get this video to 100 likes, folks, that would mean the absolute world to me. So when you think about the Las Vegas Raiders, you think, oh, well, they don't know what they're doing. It starts with the ownership and Mark Davis, but they don't know what they're doing. Like I just said, they've had a whole bunch of head coaches. They've had a whole bunch of offense coordinators. They've had a whole bunch of GMs in the last 3+ seasons. Why would you want to go to one of the most disastrous recent tenured franchises in the NFL? Well, what Ben Johnson is looking for here, first and foremost, is he doesn't want to just squander an opportunity just because like we said, 13 head coaching vacancies. He's been interviewed 13 times to be a head coach. He wants the right opportunity. And as we know, Tom Brady apparently has had a really big say. Apparently, he urged the Las Vegas Raiders, or Mark Davis, I should say, to fire Antonio Pierce, to fire GM Tom Telesco. And Brady wants to get this organization back on track. And what the difference is between the Las Vegas Raiders and all the other head coaching vacancies out there right now is the GM position. So we heard that Tom and the management staff over in Las Vegas right now, the ownership group, they want to marry the head coach with the GM. So if Ben Johnson theoretically gets hired as the head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders, what he's going to have a very big say in is a new GM. And he can kind of also help pick his guy. And the reason that's such a big deal is it's just a clean slate. It's a clean slate for the GM. It's a clean slate for the head coach. It's a clean slate for the franchise, the organization, everybody involved. And you can just kind of forget about, Antonio or, Tom Telesco, this is his 3rd year. This is his 2nd year. We need to start seeing some results. Tom Telesco could be on the hot seat. None of that drama, none of that BS. And for Ben Johnson, you could be thinking, well, why would I want to go to the Las Vegas Raiders, whose starting quarterback technically is Gardner Minshew, who got benched numerous times this past season? And then the backup, Aiden O'Connell, 2nd year, entering his 3rd year out of Purdue, not too crazy. Well, Over the Cap estimates that the salary cap for the NFL will land at $272.5 million. Now, based on that figure there, the Las Vegas Raiders are expected to have about $90.4 million in effective cap space. So that gives you the 2nd most cap space in the National Football League. Now, it gets even a little bit better there because, all right, well, they still don't have a quarterback. There's no quarterbacks out there on the free agent market that are needle movers except your opinion on Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold looks to be the best quarterback out there that's entering free agency. You can't factor out trades. People have ideas about Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins. Obviously, we're going to kibosh either of those two coming over to Las Vegas, or at least I'm going to. But draft picks. So the Raiders currently hold 8 picks in the 2025 NFL draft. They, as we know, have the 6th overall pick in the draft. In addition to owning their own picks for the next 6 rounds, they also have, because of the Devontae Adams trade halfway through the season, they have the Jets' third-round pick as well. And also compensatory picks. Over the Cap projects the Raiders will receive 2 6th-round compensatory selections, and you usually hear about that around March for the NFL. So the Raiders could have like 10 total draft picks. They could have almost $100 million in free agency. Now, a lot of their upcoming free agents, as far as offensively goes, I not urging anything crazy, like the wide receiver room, could use another proven body. Is Jacoby Myers going to get extended because he just had a career season going for over 1,000 for the first time in his NFL career? We got to fill in the offensive line. You got to figure out the quarterback situation. But most of the impending free agents are going to come defensively, and that's why I'm so glad that they have all these different draft picks, and they also have almost $100 million. And obviously, you can move cap around a lot. But even just going off that list here for the Raiders, Ben Johnson is still by far my favorite. Coach Spags, I would be cool for the defense. I don't really see too many of my bigger concerns, even with all the impending defensive free agents. My concerns don't really lie defensively, especially when you have Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins. So Coach Spags, be cool to steal him from Kansas City, but I'm not like all that big, or I'm not all that down on it either, but it just doesn't really move the needle for me. Pete Carroll would be cool. I think he could come in here, bring some leadership, some established leader voice, just a proven vet. So dude who almost has 20 combined years of NFL head coaching experience. He's got a Super Bowl ring from 2013 with Seattle, but he's also in his 70s. And if you hire Pete Carroll to be your head coach, you're looking at 2 years. So kind of all set on that, even though Pete Carroll, this was 10 years ago, I would be a lot more inclined. Robert Saleh, I don't really have too many strong opinions. Saleh seems really cool. But it's kind of like Vance Joseph with Denver right now, their defensive coordinator, where I'd prefer Las Vegas to go with an offensive-minded head coach, and that's, you could bring up Todd Monken, who's also going to be getting interviewed by the Raiders shortly here. He's up there on my list too, but pretty much to summarize, because I'm not a GM, I'm not a coach, I'm not a player or anything like that. I don't mind whoever, if it's not going to be Ben Johnson, the Raiders can sign whoever they want, or hire, I should say, whoever they want. You got to get the offense coordinator right. You got to get the QB right. And, at the end of the day, it's just it's a crapshoot. It's a guessing game. But Ben Johnson would bring immediate offensive help. So that's who's everyone's favorite is, I assume. But hit that like button. I'm losing my voice. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button for daily Raiders content. And guys, most importantly, down below, let me know who your ideal head coach is and who your backup ideal